Welcome back to Living Literature. In this lesson, we will look at Walking Away by Cecil Day Lewis, who was a poet laureate. Sean, to whom the poem is dedicated, is his son. Another son is Daniel Day-Lewis, the famous actor. In the previous lesson, you were given some topic sentences to develop for the poem New Boy. Let's look at one suggested paragraph for you to compare your answers. The poet uses many examples to show how strange and miserable the new boy feels. In the first stanza, he breathes in the unpleasant smell of polish and disinfectant, and also tastes the flavor of his own fear. In stanza 2, he is disturbed by the loud, harsh sounds of many boys. The next stanza features wild movements, harsh commands, and the unpleasant sound of a warning bell. A normal bell for the school, but an unpleasant, frightening sound for the boy. Stanza 4 builds on his feeling of misery and not belonging, and he gets close to wanting to cry. Before we begin reading, here is a glossary for some of the terms in the poem. Let's analyze. Which feelings are expressed in this poem related to the separation between the poet and his son? To answer this question, we will look at how the parting is both painful but also natural and necessary. With that in mind, we are going to write an essay with an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. The introduction will introduce the ideas of pain and natural and necessary, and the conclusion will recap on those same ideas. Body paragraph 1 will look at the idea of pain, and body paragraph 2 will look at how the separation is natural and necessary. In our planning, we look at topic sentence 1 first. Here we need to find supporting points for why the parting is painful. As you can see here, we have organized our mind map into the quotes and then to another layer of actually explaining each of these quotes. Similarly, we need to look for supporting points for the second topic sentence about how the separation is also natural and necessary. Pause the video here to see each of the branches in a little more detail. With the planning done, we are ready to write. We have written an essay with an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion.
In the poem Walking Away, Cecil Day Lewis deals with his conflicting feelings about watching his son grow up and walk away. On the one hand, he suggests the pain involved in this parting of father and son. However, while this parting is painful, Cecil Day Lewis also understands that it is natural and necessary, and that he must let go. There are several images in the poem that convey the pain of the parting of father and son. We see this in the description of his son's movement away as a satellite wrenched from its orbit. The use of the word wrenched suggests the violent and painful separation of the boy from his father. Furthermore, the father's anguish for his son is developed in images of an uncontrolled seed eddying away. This image suggests an uncontrolled spinning away, which must be frightening for the boy and concerning for his father. Furthermore, the painful burning of this separation is suggested by scorching ordeals and fire. In the final stanza, the poet admits that he has had worse partings, but that this parting still persistently gnaws at his mind, causing his ongoing anguish. There is therefore no doubt that the separation of father and son caused suffering. But thinking courageously about the situation, Day Lewis has to acknowledge the naturalness and necessity of his son growing up and finding independence. His poetic expression of this reality can be found in the line, "A sunny day with the leaves just turning." Here we see how the change into an autumn day follows the natural 4-season cycle. And the line, "like a winged seed loosened from its parent stem," also indicates the natural and necessary process of the seed leaving the parent plant. The final stanza reaches a climax of this understanding. With a reference to God's revelations, the poet confirms what has to be accepted as a natural process of life, namely that selfhood begins with a walking away, and love is proved in the letting go. We see here that the poet understands that allowing his son to become independent is both natural and necessary. The final paradox, therefore, is that although Day Lewis understands the pain involved in his son's walking away, to show his love he must allow this natural process to take place. He is thus also walking away, in his case walking away from his role as protective father.
Here is a poem for you to analyze, which you will do by adding supporting sentences. This poem is called Come Home. Once you have read the poem, pause the video and discuss what the miners are looking forward to. Also ask, how effectively does the song create images? Now analyze the poem by adding support sentences. The introduction has been written for you. Come Home can be described as a ballad, which is a song or poem which tells a story in simple language and which often has lines which are repeated at the end of each verse. Come Home contrasts the lives of the mine workers in the gold town, presumably Johannesburg, with their lives back home in the rural area of the Tugela River. The opening topic sentence for body paragraph 1 reads, "Life on the gold mines is described as unpleasant." You will be finding the supporting points and writing support sentences for the main ideas in this body paragraph. The second body paragraph, the opening topic sentence reads, "By contrast, they sing very positively about their love for home and what awaits them there." Again, you will be creating support sentences for the main ideas in this topic sentence. You can, if you wish, send your versions to rodsetv@writetolearn.co.za, and some submissions will be commented on. You can also comment on how you are finding working with this course in the comments section of the YouTube channel. That brings us to the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, we will continue analyzing poetry using the paragraph method. We will also look at some paragraphs written for Come Home.